So here's another one of my Tea Party Guide to DC videos. And we are on southeast Capitol Hill, not too far from Lincoln Park. We're on 9th Street. And we've been doing petitioning and a little shopping at the farmer's market. This beautiful, just under $2 million home, at least tax appraisal, is the home of Eleanor Holmes Norton. And so I thought it would be interesting to film her house in her neighborhood and to see kind of where she lives and what her neighbors are like. I think she's probably lived here a long time. It's a beautiful block. I think it's a fairly safe block for DC. One of the safer. This is her car. There's her vanity plate, EHN1. She drives a Ford, a good American car. The last car I bought was also a Ford manufacturer, although a different model. So we have that in common. In DC, we call these the unit block. The block that's on either side of North Capitol Street, or South Capitol, or in this case, East Capitol, because your number is always in the single digits. Like this is number 18. You may not be able to see that. She's number 10 on 9th Street. They're all kind of Victorian-ish houses. Sometimes in DC, this style is called, a variant of this style is called a Chesapeake Bay, because it has this bay window that comes out in a kind of boxy way. And if it has a little relief carved into it, because these were all made back when you could carve relief things into things and you could afford to do that, has a little relief carved into it. It's got chestnuts. Actually, sorry, Chestnut Bay, not Chesapeake Bay. But I don't see any chestnuts carved into any of these. Anyway, it's a pretty block. There's a house there being fixed up. And there's another house that looks like it's going to be fixed up soon. Somebody just threw something into its window, or into its yard. Anyway, I thought it would be interesting to walk around and see, as I've done with so many journalists and politicians in my video series, where she's chosen to live and what her neighbors are like. Sort of her demonstrated preference in real estate. I can tell you one thing, she's chosen to live with some very pretty houses right here off East Capitol Street. That's one thing that she's chosen to do. There's actually a libertarian Democrat blogger who lives at the kind of parallel address. There's her front door, exactly behind her on 10th Street. It just so happens an odd number on 10th Street and an even number on 9th Street, 10 9th Street, back up to each other. So there's a libertarian writer who lives behind her, totally by accident. Libertarian writer who used to work for the Democratic Party, so he used to be a Democrat who worked for the Democratic Party. So I don't know if it's an irony that she lives behind a libertarian, or if it's a commonality that so many people who work for political parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, are the people who can afford to live in this neighborhood. There's a very grand corner yard. We're just going to walk around, maybe in an expanded concentric circle around Eleanor's house, and see who we see. It's Sunday afternoon. People are out strolling. The Nationals Stadium is not all that far from here. Lincoln Park, where people walk their dogs, is right up ahead. The Eastern Market is behind us. People are out enjoying all these kinds of things. Certainly are very beautiful houses here in the 900 block of East Capitol Street. Some famous libertarians actually used to live in a rental. I think it was a rental like 20 or 30 years ago, way down East Capitol Street, more like in the 1500 block. They could not afford, being libertarians, to live in the 900 block. They were not connected to crony capitalist Anyway, some famous people who are now or have since been at Cato and who worked on the Clark campaign in the 1980s lived there. I guess I won't actually say their names, but anybody who wants to know can ask me and I'll tell you. But they lived 6 blocks farther out and 30 years ago, and it was not as ritzified then, especially 6 blocks farther out. DC changes its ritziness every couple of blocks. Although where Miss Eleanor lives, you can go another, oh gosh, quite a few more blocks, another 7 or 8 of ritziness beyond her. Anyway, this is the block where a famous libertarian contributor to Reason magazine, who doesn't work there, but who has served in the Democratic Party, lives. So she has like one neighbor who could perhaps provide her with some education about all her mistaken beliefs. Of course, she has hundreds of other neighbors who are all lobbyists in the pay of people who depend upon her mistaken beliefs and those of her party, and in fact of both major parties. But it's a lovely neighborhood, as most of DC is lovely now, or lots of it, floating on federal money, stolen from taxpayers all around the country. That's why we have what was once very grand, our subway system, although it's now deteriorating. And I'm not sure that we'll be able to stick the bill with people around the country as we probably stuck some of the construction bill with them. There may be no more money, so as it deteriorates, it may all be on us to either fix it up or shut it down, which seems to be happening right now anyway. Big chunks of it are shut down every weekend for belated repairs. Of course, the other problem with DC and with all this lovely renovated turn-of-the-century property is that you can't afford it unless you are a lawyer or a lobbyist or married to one. Average DC people who it's great to get through college, they can't afford any of this. They have to move out to Woodbridge and Dale City and Laurel. They can't afford to stay in DC, especially in these parts of it. These houses are all for sale for, actually I just looked at a house a block farther in, complete brand new renovation. It's being held open right now. It's $1.85 million. It does not even have a parking space, but it's $1.85 million. Anyway, we're continuing to go in a big circle around Eleanor's house, which we walked by twice. We may have enough room on this tape to walk by it one more time. And we're just looking to see what the neighborhood she's chosen to live in is like and who lives here. She's lived here for a while. See who her neighbors are, the people she actually meets with and deals with on a daily basis, and would know what their problems are because she's living right amongst them. Here between Eastern Market and Lincoln Park, two of the most shishi and exclusive names you could find in DC real estate. Only a step below saying you lived in Massachusetts Avenue Heights or Embassy Row where Hillary lives. But not much of a step beyond. Well, here's Eleanor's block again. We're getting close to 10 minutes. So we're going to walk by. We'll probably end the tape at her house. These tapes, given the very software I use to upload them, really don't work for more than 10 minutes. You can see how beautiful the landscaping of plants and flowers and vines and ivy are. This person has very nice curtains. There's a variety of cars parked on the street. Someone about to walk the cute dog behind me. There's Eleanor's house again as we hit the 10-minute mark. And that's the end.